Namaste. Welcome to yoga this morning. Hope everyone had a good night's rest. So finding your comfortable seat. It could be a chair, sitting on the floor, sitting cross-legged, sitting on your heels, whatever makes you comfortable. It's finding a place to be for a few moments. And you can let yourself take a soft gaze down at the floor in front of you or close your eyes completely, whichever is most comfortable for you. Allowing your body to relax as your spine lifts upward. Eyes closed or soft gaze, soft shoulders, soft jaw, soft belly. Just breathing wherever your breath is for a moment. Just noticing it, don't change it. And then on your next inhale, bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Let your head bow a little bit, chin headed toward the chest, back of the neck lengthening. Relax your jaw again. And enter with me in the invocation. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present, a special prayer of thanksgiving for Babaji. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga, Ayurveda, and with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. What do you need from your practice today for self-transformation? And then checking in with yourself, who or what could use a little extra energy from your efforts, and it can be yourself. Whatever pops into your mind, who can you offer up your practice to? What can you offer your practice to? And then letting those two thoughts, your dedication and your transformation, slip down into your heart space to be brought back at the end of practice. We'll join together in one Om. I hope you're at a place where you can chant out loud and feel the vibration of the when we're chanting. Exhaling the breath all the way out, taking in a nice big inhale to chant. Letting your eyes flutter open on an inhale. Welcome again. So today we're going to focus on something that has been supporting you every single day of your life. Okay? We're going to work on our feet. Our feet we often ignore and we don't think very much about them, but they reflect our general health. And anybody that knows or has practiced reflexology, where someone works on your lungs or works on your tummy by working on the soles of your feet, you know that, okay? So for just a moment, bring the soles of the feet together and just observe your feet. Press into the toes, press into everything. Just observe, not anything happening. Notice your arch. Does your arch see all the way through to the mat below you, or is it closed off? How far in does it close off? And then pull your toes apart, just pulling apart the toes and looking at the difference in your arch, if there is any. Just notice. Good. And then let our left leg just rest for a moment. So wherever the left leg is resting. So we're going to take our right foot and shake it, and don't let it help you. So make it really limp. Shake your right foot. Good. Okay, and now we're going to do cranking. So hold on to your big toe, second toe, third toe, whatever you need, and crank your foot in one direction. Crank the ankle. It's going to try to help you. Don't let it help you. Go back, and if you have to, shake it out again. Go back in the other direction. You do the cranking. Hold on firmly to your right shin or right calf, wherever you've got it. Good, other direction. And then shake it again. And then take your fingers, and you may have to take your little finger only and put it in all of them separately. But try to take your fingers and push them in between the toes, okay? So fingers wrapped in between the toes, get in whatever you can, doesn't really matter, okay? And now crank it with your toes open. Go once in one direction, once in the other direction. Don't let it help you. If you have to, shake it out. Other direction, other direction. So not too much in one direction. Good. And then release your fingers and shake it out again. And then just release the right foot and let's hold on to the left foot. So start with the shake. It's amazing how it really wants to help, right? Okay, cranking, just holding on to the toes. Cranking in one direction 4 or 5 times. Take it slowly, no need to hurry. Other direction. Good, and then let's take our fingers. Start with your little finger in between the little toe, and then see if you can work all the fingers into the toes. Do whatever you can, it doesn't really matter. Good, and then again, cranking, just one crank, one crank, one crank. Don't let it help you. Good, and then release and shake it out again. And again, simply put the feet together, press into the feet again, press in firmly. We're going to use our hands as models for our feet. Our feet really like to follow our hands, okay? So we're going to open our thumbs, open our big toe. Open our index finger, open the second toe. Middle finger, third toe. Ring finger, fourth toe. Little finger, little toe. Okay? So now we have everything open. Hopefully we're seeing a bigger arch. And then little toe goes in, little finger, little toe, ring toe, middle finger, middle toe, index finger, first toe, and thumb, big toe. Okay, really press in. Good. Press, 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 hands and feet. Good. And then just release it for a moment. Okay, bring the knees together and just pick up your feet for a moment, put them down. Pick up your feet into the heel, put them down. Pick up your feet, keep your toes lifted the whole time. So the ball of the foot goes down, toes stay lifted. Bring it up, down, up, down, up, down. Good. And then just take your feet wherever you can come up through a squat. Come up nice and slowly into toe balance. So we're on the ball of the foot, not really the toe. If you need something to hold on to, just grab a chair or the wall or anything that's there. And just balancing for a moment on the ball of the foot. Okay, so ball of the foot. Heels are off the ground and looking for an erect spine. And then when we come up for this moment, we're going to come up all the way to standing, but we're going to try to stay on the ball of the foot as we rise. So just staying up on the ball of the foot. And then once you get there, pick a few cherries, stay on the ball of the foot, picking some cherries, and then relax. Good. You can hold on to the wall or whatever you need. So now shake out your left foot. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Like I said, hold on to anything you might need to. Good. Okay, and then you're letting it crank one direction, then the other. Good. Switch legs. Okay, shake it, shake out the ankle, and then crank one direction, and then the other. Good, okay, and then come back into the center. So we're gonna, it looks like we're moving our knees, but it's, well, our knees are gonna move, but it's really our feet that we're gonna work on. So bend your knees gently, make sure you're tracking out over your toes so that you're covering your toes, covering your feet, bend them gently. We're gonna take our knees and our feet, so feet and knees together as a unit over to the left, back. It's as if we were doing the jitterbug. but I want you to realize it's your feet that are moving. So your feet curl up on one side, go to the back, to the front. Really working on the feet. Good. When you get to the side, stop again, and now go to the other side. Work the feet. Poke your bottom out, not curving your spine. Have your natural curve. If you feel any knee pressure, you're not doing it properly, so stop. Good, because you want the ankle, shin, and knee to move as a unit. Good. Come into neutral and come on up. Great. Shake them out one more time. And then take a nice wide stance. Lift the toes. Lift the pelvic floor. Lift the belly. Bring your breath into your chest. Take a few breaths for a moment. Keep the toes lifted. Do not let the toes go down. If you realize all of a sudden they have draped down, pick them back up. Make sure your heels are out enough. For many of us, the sides of our feet are parallel to the mat, okay? Some of us have really big arches in the foot, and that wouldn't be the case, okay? Wiggle your hips. Good. So if you bend your knees slightly, you'll see your second toe and your knees are headed in the same direction. Keeping our knees safe through this. Toes stay lifted. Good. Take a nice inhale. And exhale, coming over just parallel to the floor. Poke your bottom out, get long in the spine. Inhale while you're there, and then exhale up. So moving only on the exhale. Inhale. Exhale over. Lift your toes. Inhale. And exhale up. It's really our feet we're working on, even though we're using our spine and our hips. Exhale. Inhale while you're there. And exhale. Back up. Good. And let your toes go down for a minute. Relax them. And then heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Good. So nice Tadasana. Your feet can be a little bit further apart, whatever's really comfortable for you. Okay. Find your mountain. Babaji calls this palm tree pose. They're nice and tall. And then lift your toes. Good, and then look down at your toes. Again, little toe goes down, the second toe goes down, middle toe goes down, index toe goes down, big toe goes down. Grip your mat with your toes, pull with your toes as much as you can, and then release the toes, okay? Good, excellent. Lift the toes again. We're gonna go reverse. Big toe, second toe, this one is really hard for me, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, and grip again, like gripping with your fingers, grip with your toes, grip, good, and release. Great, okay, and let's go back again. Nice wide stance. We're gonna externally rotate. We're just gonna add some things to make it a little bit more interesting, but feet are still the focus. So lift your toes on your left foot. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of an arch. The muscles along our shins are what ensure that we have an arch on our foot. There's not much in your foot, muscle-wise. There are tendons that belong to the muscles on your shin, and those are what create our arch. So really pulling the toes back toward you. Bend the knee, stack it over the ankle, keep the toes lifted. Arms out to the side, primarily not to think about our feet and our toes staying lifted. Good, spine is erect. Don't lean, come back up. Spine is erect. Good, and then let's lean in the other direction, Joan of Arc for a moment. Go ahead and take your right hand and reach out to the front as if you were touching something out to the front. Come back into neutral and reach gently in the other direction. Keep the toes lifted, come back through, reach over. And back in the other direction. And then come into neutral. Rear two, reach that right shoulder back to the right. Straighten the leg, release the toes. Oh, how good that feels. Release the arms, unrotate, rock your heel out a little bit, and then to the other side. Right toes lift. Feel the arch. Look down and notice how that foot is. Look at it, see it. Good. Spine is erect. And then inhale, arms out to the side. We're going to bend the knee. Good. Opening the left hip, pushing through the outside of the left foot. Foot is working. You can lift the toes on both feet, but the focus is the right foot. Good. Take a nice inhale. And as we exhale, we'll lean back and just reach the arms one in each direction. Back in and reach in the other direction. Don't collapse. Stay tall. Coming back through Joan of Arc or Dying Warrior. Other direction. And back into neutral. Toes are still lifted. Great. And then press up. Release the toes. Come back into neutral. Good. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Great. We're going to head right on back down to the toe balance. Just one more time. Balancing on your toes. Spine is erect. Get as tall as you can. Go ahead and bring your hands into Anjali if it's comfortable. If you need a hand on something, just bring in one hand to the heart. Okay? Balancing. This is going to sound weird for a moment, but try to lift your toes a little. So really into the ball of the foot. They won't lift, but the intention is there and you will feel it in the musculature of the foot. Well, in the tendons of the foot and the muscles on the tibialis. Good. Great. And now we're going to go down into all fours. Table pose. Four-legged pose. Putting our feet firmly on the floor with the tops of the foot pressing into the floor. So our feet are going to be the focus of this cat pose this time, right? I'm pressing into the tops of the feet on the floor. And then I'm going to curl the toes under and arch. Arching, looking back at my belly, pressing into the feet. And then coming back in the opposite direction, pressing into the tops of the feet on the floor. So letting the feet, you can move only on your exhale if you'd like. Exhale, pushing up. Inhale through a neutral. Exhale, pushing down. Inhale through a neutral. Exhale, pushing up. Or you can coordinate with the breath, one movement on each breath. You decide. Notice the feet. Focus on the feet. Press the floor away with your arms. Do not let your shoulders collapse. 2 more. Curl the tailbone. Arch the spine in both directions. Good. And then come into neutral with the toes curled under for a moment. So I'm about to give us a choice between what to do. So just to make sure, those of you who are inverting, which means having your bottom higher than your head. So if you're inverting, that means you're not on the first few days of your menstrual cycle. You don't have glaucoma, eye pressure problems, blood pressure that's not controlled with medication. If that's you, you're not inverting, okay? So if you're not inverting, I'll show you that first so you don't feel left out. And then those of you who are inverting, we're going to go to this. So we're going to go from mountain to plank, okay? So everyone else, toes are curled under for a moment. You can do this one with me too, and then transfer into the other one. So toes are curled under. The back leg, the foot extends, and I'm pressing through the left heel a lot. Arms are strong, no collapsing here. Arms are pressing away. And then the right leg, left leg bottom, right leg bottom. So I'm pressing into the foot, into the heel. Follow the foot, really pressing into the foot, and then down and down. So this is no inversion, okay? And for those of you who can invert, come back into plank. Head back into mountain, often called downward facing dog. My teacher calls it mountain. Good. And then come forward into plank. with the focus on your feet. Back into mountain, press the heels toward the floor. Make sure you cannot see the heels. Coming forward into plank, press through the heels. Back into mountain and back into plank. So some of you are going up and down if you're not inverting. Just moving up and down. Feet are the focus. Others are going plank to mountain, mountain to plank. And then everybody meet, knees to the floor, curl the toes under, take your hips back to your heels. Just looking forward. That little bit of extra pressure into the ball of the foot. Come up and off your hips a little bit, and then push the feet out and tops of the feet into the floor. And now take your hips back towards your heels. Walk your hands towards you. Take the hands by the feet. If you're not inverting, you're just looking forward, and you're going to have some muscular energy in your neck. If you can invert, just go ahead and tuck your chin and chest down to the floor. And then slowly bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Look forward a little bit, reach the arms out. We're going to come back up into table. We'll have to readjust when we get up, just making sure we're nicely aligned. Good. And then onto the tops of the feet for a moment. Tops of the feet. So I think we were going to do upward facing dog. We call it extended cobra. And then down. Okay. So tops of the feet and down. As if we were doing plank, but we're just doing plank on your toes. And you may need to move. I had to readjust my hands for that to be comfortable. Okay, up, tops of the feet, and down. You can do one at a time or both. Good. And then curl the toes under. Press back into plank. Good. And then those of you who can press into mountain, go there. Those of you who are not, come back down to your knees and press into frog. Just looking forward. Those of you who are in mountain pose, count 3 breaths and then join us knees to the floor in frog. Good. Toes are curled under, that little bit of extra weight into the toes. Walk your hands back, come up onto your knees. Good. Toes are still curled under. Great. And we're going to bring our right leg forward. So just bringing the right leg forward. Good. Make sure the knee is right over the ankle. Create a right angle with the knee and the ankle of the right leg. And then press through the left heel. Press through the heel. We really need strong feet for these poses to be efficient. Good, just looking forward. This nice low lunge. Use the heel. Feel your calf engage. Breathe. If you have blocks and you'd like them, this is a good place to just lift yourself a little bit. Pressing through the heel. Couple more breaths, really engaging the leg, seeing how the leg is totally connected, how the quadriceps have to work here, as well as the hamstrings. And then down to the left knee. Bring the right leg back and the left leg forward. Again, forming the right angle, knee right over the ankle. Keep the integrity. Your hips are facing toward the short end of your mat. Curl the back toe under and press through the heel. Really activate the heel. Pretend your whole right leg is a Power Ranger sword or a Jedi sword. And it's flashing light out of your heel. Get strong, lift the quad, press through the heel. Breathe, looking forward. Good, one more breath. Drop to your back knee and bring your front leg back to meet the knee. Good. If you have blocks, you can get them out of the way for a moment. Great. Curl the toes under, and again, we're taking our weight there and sitting up. So just pressing into the feet. And then coming up again, just nice and upright. Notice your hip flexors, just in the groin area, just noticing the hip flexors. Great. And then go ahead and extend the right leg forward, all the way forward. Flex the foot. And if you have blocks here, you might want a pair of blocks on either side of your body. Flex the right foot. Good. Back foot is under. Great. And then slowly keep flexing the foot, flexing the foot, flexing the foot as you begin to bend forward. Just a little, you don't have to go too much. If you have anything close to you to hold on to, that's great. Or just stay up, put your hands at your hips and lean forward just a little bit. Press into the back foot. Keep the front foot flexed. And then come back upright, nice and slowly. And bring your right foot back. And take your left foot forward. Good. Extend the foot out, extend the heel out, flex the foot, curl the back foot under. Good. Get balance. This is a big balance pose, even though we're on 2 feet. Keep the front foot flexed toward you. And then slowly begin to bend forward. Keep the hands at the hip. Breathe. Keep your focus. And then slowly coming back up, all the way up. Good. Bring the left leg right back where it goes. Good. Curl both toes under. Excellent. And take your hips back to your heels. That little bit of extra pressure right there. Good. And then slowly, from where you are, go ahead and swish your legs over to the right and sit down. Just over to the right, kind of leaning out for a moment. Good. So I have my left wrist right underneath my shoulder. I have a slight bend on my left elbow, so I'm not hyperextending and dumping weight into the joint. Good. My bottom leg is bent, and with my top leg, I'm going to just extend it out and flex the foot. You're going to feel it in your hip, in your TFL. You're going to feel it everywhere, but the foot is the focus. Flex the foot. Goes toward me, not toward the ceiling. No rotation, just abduction. Make sure you keep that little micro bend on your left elbow. Then bend the leg and release it. Good. Swish the feet over in the other direction. And again, put your right wrist right underneath your shoulder, slight bend on the right elbow. Your right leg is bent. And then extend out through the left foot. Flex the foot toward me, no rotation. Good. Make sure you keep that micro bend in your right elbow. Press through the foot a lot. Check with your breath. Are you breathing? Couple more breaths. Good, and then slowly bring that foot back, leg back, and let's take the soles of the feet together into Vajrasana. Just see if this one looks a little different than your first. Go ahead and extend your feet out for a moment. Just extending and making a nice big diamond. Hold on, touch your hamstring tendons, just grab into those big wiry, cordy things behind your knees on the outside. Press in a little bit, just give those hamstrings a little rest. Your toes can be soft, just let your feet rest for a moment. And then lift the pelvic floor, lift the belly, bring the feet a little bit closer. Let's activate the pose. Peel the toes apart. Hold on to ankles or shins. Nice and tall on the spine. Shoulders are back and down, rolling down the back. Good. And then let's take our victory fingers, peace fingers, the first two fingers, and put them in between, around our big toes. And see if you can balance for a moment. I have to come away from the pillow that's stopping me. Balance onto your sit bones, okay? So just a little bit of balance on the sit bones. Try not to lean back too far, not on your tailbone, not on your sacrum. Up on the edge of the sit bones. The feet are active. You're gonna barely extend. You do not have to straighten the knee. Flex the foot, press through the heel. Left leg extending. Staying bent, doesn't matter. You're gonna feel the engagement in the hamstrings on the back of the leg. Good, and then release it. And now right leg, begin to extend. Foot flexed toward you. Active foot, press through the heel. Keep pressing through the heel. Try to imagine that you're taking any of this pressure into the belly of the muscle on the back of your right leg, into the hamstring on the right leg. Put your focus there. Make sure that your right shoulder is down, shoulder blade is down, not up, down. Check with your breath. And then release. Good, so we're still balancing, we're still off the feet. Toes are headed back toward us. And then let's try to release our hands from the feet, but keep the feet flexed and active. Feet are flexed and active. Good. And then just extend for a moment. Bring it back. Extend for a moment. Bring it back. Rest the sides of the feet on the floor. And now let's check in doing hands and toes like we did at the beginning, okay? Just see if we've increased any of our proprioception, the communication between our brain and our extremities. So thumb open, big toes open. Index finger open, second toe open. Middle finger, middle toe. Ring finger, ring toe. Little finger, little toe. Let's put them back exactly the same. Press into the ball of the foot first. Create a big arch, press into the heel. Whole foot is active. And then little toe, little finger. Second toe, second finger. Middle finger. Index finger, index toe. And big toe, thumb. Good. Press in, press, press, press. Good. And then release. Great. Grab that left foot and shake it out like you did at the beginning. Shaking, cranking. Don't let it help you. Other direction. And then shake again. Good. Rest that one. Pick up the right one, shake it. Crank it. You can always thread your fingers in your toes if you'd like. A little extra. Good. And shake it. Great. And then just rest for a moment. Just rest your feet, your legs. Sitting up on the diamond of your pelvic basket. So pubic bone, tailbone, sit bone, creating a diamond. Lean over to the left sit bone, lean out toward the pubic bone, lean over toward the right sit bone, lean back toward the tailbone. And now sit yourself up in the middle of this diamond. Relax your elbows and arms. Get soft for a moment. Relax your feet, your ankles, your knees, your thighs. Good, just being still for a moment. And then on your next inhale, get tall, arms up overhead. Just a little twist over to the left. Keep looking at me and see how much your twist is in your body and not your neck. Come back up with the arms overhead. Little twist over to the right. Back and go again. Either keep your chin over your sternum or keep your head front and center. Arms up and other side. Good. And back to the center. Okay. We're going to go down to the floor for just a moment. Just watch before you go. Okay. We're going to do one foot thing before we decide whether or not we're taking an inversion. Okay. So just have that block with you once you do go down. So just looking for a moment. Once we're here, just laying down, we're going to let our legs rest and then take our feet together in some big circles in both directions. Then we're going to take them up and take the feet in both directions. We're going to press through the feet a lot. So this is a perfect place for anybody to do the inversion. You can even drop your feet on the floor. There's no lifting. The tailbone isn't higher up than your head and your brain. Okay, so this is fine for everybody. But those of you who want you can do headstand, handstand, any inversion that you do. But Viparita Karani Mudra with a little movement in the feet initially. Okay, so go ahead and lie down. Just have your block handy if you're going to take the inversion. So just lying down, knees bent, feet on the floor. Make sure you have a little bit of lumbar curve in this particular pose. Scoot your shoulders up towards your head. Make sure you're long in the spine, not compressed and compacted. And then draw your knees into your chest. Don't pull them in, just whatever they come of their own voluntad in Spanish, of their voluntary movement, right? And then make some circles with your ankles, one direction and the other. You can do 4 or 5 in one direction and then 4 or 5 in the other direction, or you can do 1, 1. You decide. Moving your ankles. Keep moving. Great. And then lift the feet up overhead. You don't need to straighten your knees a lot. You're welcome to straighten them if you want, but you can also, the focus is still the feet. Circling in one direction. The feet are moving together as a pair, not in separate directions yet. Even out whatever you've done on the other side. And then press through the heels. Straighten the legs, press through the heels. Good. And now take your ankles out and make outer circles. So now they're mirroring each other. Ankles are making circles. Toes out, toes in, toes out, toes in. And now the other direction, toes in and out, making big circles. And then you can either stay here for the inversion, or you're totally welcome to do your headstand, handstand, Mountain pose is a great inversion to build strength in the arms, the shoulders, pelvic basket, creating bone stability, especially for us women. So mountain pose or Viparita Karani Mudra, which is what I am doing right now with a block. Don't compromise your neck. Don't look out to the side. Look up at the ceiling. If you have to look back and see what's going on, push yourself up, look, and then go back down. Just breathing wherever you are. And then slowly let your knees drop in towards your chest a little. 1 foot at a time on the floor. If you have a block, take the block out and find Shavasana, corpse pose. The most challenging pose of all. Can you absolutely relax and let go for a moment? Just letting your body go. Check in with your legs, your feet, knees, thighs. Check in with your pelvic basket. Let go. Trunk of the body, chest, shoulders, arms, elbows, forearms, wrist and hands. Check in with your neck, your head. In any place you may find any tension in the body, just allowing it to dissipate. Your breath is soft and shallow, just enough to sustain. Check in with your jaw, soft jaw, no control. Releasing body, breath, mind. Slowly and gently bringing your awareness into the breath, finding it in your belly or your chest. Letting it deepen a little bit. Allowing your eyes to roll in the sockets in one direction and then the other. Letting the tongue roam the mouth, the back of the teeth, the roof of the mouth. Swishing it along the front of the teeth. Then opening the mouth wide as if you were yawning. Snap, crackle, pop the ears, wiggle your ears if you can, wriggle your nose. Beginning to swim the fingers and twinkle the toes, bringing all 5 senses back online. And then deciding how you want to make your way into embryo pose. You can stretch out, shrink in, whatever makes you feel like you're transitioning into a new beginning, new possibilities. Corpse pose, leaving it behind. Anything that no longer serves you, leave it there with it. Just curl up in embryo. And then slowly begin to press the floor away. Keep your chin tucked into your chest. Let your head be the very last thing that comes up as you spiral up slowly. Finding your comfortable seat. Just being still for a few more moments, letting embryo, corpse, integrate into body, breath, and mind. Briefly. Combining those 3 energies, body, breath, mind. And on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. So today's pranayama practice, we're going to do something that's very grounding, helping us to stabilize, remembering that our feet are the representation of that downward flow of energy, apana vayu, the energy of the body that moves down and roots us and grounds us. It's responsible for anything moving out of the body, be it childbirth, menstruation, ejaculation, excretion, urination, everything that goes out and down, that balancing of apana vayu, that downward flow. Okay? So today, as we do our breath, we're going to think about the diaphragm dropping into that space. So just abdominal breath, diaphragm drops. And then we bring the belly in. So we're using our muscles. We release the belly. And we use the muscles to bring it back. So we release the belly muscles as we inhale. Diaphragm drops down, spreads a little bit to the sides. And then we exhale and the belly comes in. So it's not moving up into the chest. We're just playing with the diaphragm, which is like a parachute attached to the base of your ribs, floating over your stomach, literally the organ that's called your stomach, and your liver on your side, right? So it's just floating over that. When it contracts, it pushes down or out. It has to go either direction, okay? It is attached. It is totally attached to everything that's happening in our thoracic cavity. And the diaphragm itself is attached with a membrane to the heart. So as we do the abdominal breath, bringing it in and out, like every breath of the body, we're massaging the heart, okay? So tall spine, exhaling the breath all the way out, belly to spine. Relax the belly, inhale into the belly. Exhale, pull the belly back. Undulating your abdomen. Inhaling, belly expands. Exhale, belly comes back. Continuing at your own pace. Abdominal breathing. Grounding. Don't be afraid to use the muscles to pull the belly back and then release the muscles and let the belly expand with the breath. The diaphragm dropping down and pushing the organs out of the way. Then bring it back. Use the rectus abdominis, the transverse abdominis. And after your next exhale, releasing the pranayama for a moment, just bringing back your natural breath. All spine, just checking in. We're going to repeat the rounds. Just checking in, body, breath, mind. Just noticing you feel more rooted, more grounded. And we're going to begin again. Beginning with an exhale. Belly to spine, exhaling the breath all the way out. Relax the belly, let the breath come in. Exhale the breath all the way out, pulling the belly toward the spine. Relax the belly, breath comes in. Continuing at your own pace. Your mind focused on the practice itself. Follow the breath. And on your next exhale, completing the round of abdominal breathing, falling into your natural breath. Preparing for a quiet meditation. Moving as little as possible. Try to resist that urge to move. You don't need to move. Keeping your spine erect, relaxing the body. Continuing to ground down. Our focus again is grounding, rooting, imagining tendrils going through the building where you are, from your body down into Mother Earth. Grounding. The seed syllable of the base of the body of Apanavayu. Lung, 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 lung. Repeating it silently to yourself. Lung, 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 lung. As the mind starts to wander, bring it back with the seed syllable. Tendrils are firmly rooted into Mother Earth, and your breath is soft and shallow, just enough to sustain. Lung, lung, lung. lung, 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 lung. Beginning to release the mantra, release the tendrils, knowing they're both there for you when you need ground. Letting the meditation dissipate to come back into the body, the breath, the mind. Bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Any merit we may have earned this morning in our practice, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentience. Remembering your intention for transformation. Remembering your offering, to whom or to what you were going to dedicate your practice. Ponder those thoughts for just a moment. And then let them slip out of your mind, down into your heart space. Symbolically out of your heart space into the palms of your hands. And lift them up and let them go off into the hands. Bringing the hands back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. I'm coming to you for a little talk about the practice. Let me find you and let me make it where you can speak. Hold on, or maybe I didn't even change that today. I don't think I did. Okay. Great. Excellent. So nice to have you. Everybody found the link again. I'm so glad. I missed you when you lost your link. So let's talk for just a little bit about the practice. It was really important for me to ground down on Tuesday. And I had a couple of people say that working the feet and working with grounding and rooting also was very helpful to them. So just remember, we often see ourselves seated in a meditative pose. And when we're seated like that, we think about our bottom and our tail being our lowest point, our place of apan. And of course it is, because that's where we excrete and we do everything. But we spend a lot of our lives on all fours. So the feet are also a key into apan and really helping that downward flow of energy by finding that rooting and grounding And in these really uncertain times that we're in, it's super important that we start our day rooted and grounding and really finding a way to keep ourselves rooted to Mother Earth, really rooted into Mother Earth. Any questions about anything we did before I go anywhere else? Yes, Astra, feel free to speak, sweetie. You're unmuted. You can unmute.
When we did that one out to the side, you know, where we had to lift the leg, I have no strength there, apparently, if I left it on the ground. But what muscles are actually being worked there?
It's the TFL. It's the TFL, the tensor fascia lata, right?
And to strengthen that, that's just leg lifts to the side, right?
It's side leg lifts without a single drop of rotation, and also boat pose. Boat pose, making sure that you really have your legs focused and centered with the calf below and the shin above and the toes toward the ceiling, because we'll also have a tendency, if we have tight hip flexors and weak TFLs, we'll have a tendency to put a little rotation there and use our quads for forcing us through that rather than our TFLs. So boat pose and, you know, side leg lifts with zero rotation. That's what's really important. Welcome. Anybody else, anything technical about the poses from any of you teachers out there? So, you know, I think, thank you, Wendy. Thank you, sweetie. Yesterday was a rough day for me, just getting through the day. It was Zoom after Zoom after Zoom after Zoom. And I woke up in the morning and I had to do a short video for Mount Madonna. And that vitiated my vata in the day. And I realized that later in the day, right? That I myself wasn't as grounded as I normally am in the morning, because in the morning I have my routine and I don't usually make a video of myself for it was a 2-minute video, which for me is like so different than having to teach a class, which I can do forever. I can always teach a class, but having to make an informative video and squish it all into 2 minutes was really vitiating for me, really aggravating. So I realized last night, very late in the day, just how completely ungrounded I had felt most of the day. And I promised myself that this morning I would do my normal routine, which is practice first and then come in and practice with you guys. And I'm already feeling better. So just paying that attention to our quality of the morning, right? And really respecting these routines. Anytime we have vata out of balance, which is the air and ether element, you know, anytime it's out of balance, we first will treat apana, because that downward flow, like when vata is out of balance, you usually see it first in your digestive system, either with diarrhea, which will be a pitta quality, or constipation, which will be a vata quality, or both, and depending upon the person. That's what they call IBS, right? Irritable bowel, they go from one to the other. So just knowing what we know about yoga and Ayurveda, we really can treat ourselves to things that are going to balance that vata for us. If you look at the news, you get vata vitiated. Your mind goes, so prana goes, you know. And when you when you hear that, you know, a friend now has it, or, you know, whatever, then also the mind grabs in there and fear takes over, you know. So just reminding us that to stop in our day and really reflect. This is our boat on our river to enlightenment. This is it. This is the body we selected. This is what we got, right? And it has lots of lessons for us, and we really need to respect how it is and where it is every single day. And, you know, have our breakfast accordingly, and have our lunch accordingly, and have our dinner accordingly, always at the same time. But, you know, it may be a day where you want to eat very lightly because you woke up feeling very heavy, or you may feel like, ooh. So you need oatmeal, and you need soup for lunch, and you need a stew for dinner, you know. So just remembering our principles of Ayurveda, and if you don't know them, then I'll be glad to help you. I'll be glad to tell you more every single class. So just little by little, just knowing that the 5 elements create our microcosm, which is in our body, and our macrocosm, which is our universe around us. And we have the 5 elements, and they are all around us. So just trying to bring it all into balance, making sure that if we need air element, we get air element. If we need fire element, maybe sometimes you need to like fire it up and get excited about something. So, you know, knowing how you need to balance yourself, I think, is the most important part. But today you started with grounding and down through your feet. So that's a very positive step in the right direction, literally. So during the retreat, I mentioned to people yoga toes. Yoga toes are so big and fat, they hurt me, right? But if you can just put a piece of paper in between your toes like they do when you get a pedicure, or get those little, you know, pedicure things and stick those in your toes and spend some time in your home barefoot, that's the best thing for your ankles and for your feet, for strengthening them. Raise your hand if it was easy for you to separate and put your toes back together. They're like 2 hands. Thanks, Jen. She's another teacher who's been working on it with me for a long time now. Yeah. It takes practice. It's like anything we do in life. We really have to work our feet. And if we don't work our feet and get our feet, we have really weak ankles. And then when you get old, often a fall that breaks a hip happens because of a weak ankle. Those of you who have grandparents and remember them falling and breaking a hip, often that fall is related to weak ankles that gave out and they fell and broke the hip, because the ankle is really hard to break. I mean, that is like so many bones in there, 20, 22, 20, whatever bones in the foot, right? It's impossible to break it. It's not impossible, but it's challenging. It's easier to break your upper part of the ankle, which isn't really the ankle. So just knowing that pulling a muscle or pulling a tendon in that area is much harder to cure than a broken bone in that area. So like lifting the feet and lifting the toes and working with yoga toes to keep your ankles really, really healthy will help you with your bone health. And that'll help you keep your hips stable, especially when you're walking, if you have really good ankles. So everybody think about some yoga toes today. Not the big fat ones, really. I think those are painful for me, at least.